Right now, someone is using you, and the worst part, you already know it. They need your help, your time, your approval, and you keep giving it. You bend, you accommodate, you make yourself smaller so they feel bigger. And what do you get back? Silence, entitlement, people who take more next time. You are not weak, you were trained to need their validation to feel real. Every time you wait for their call, their praise, their permission, you hand them the leash. And the moment you stop being useful, they will not look back. Not once. This video is not about revenge, it is about reclamation of yourself. Machiavelli saw this 500 years ago. He watched men destroy themselves trying to be like. He wrote one rule that no one talks about, and today you are going to hear it. You grew up being told that good men are generous, that strength means giving. You were rewarded for compliance, praised for putting others first, punished for asserting yourself. So you learned the lesson perfectly. And now you live the consequences perfectly. You are not the problem. The architecture around you was designed to harvest men like you. Social systems, workplaces, even relationships, they reward the man who gives and punish the man who stops. They call it being a good person. What they mean is stay convenient, stay controllable. Your need for their approval is the only cage that has ever held you, and you built it yourself. But here is the truth no one profits from telling you: the cage has no lock, it never did. The man who needs nothing from you is the man you cannot manipulate, cannot guilt, cannot control. That man is free not because the world gave him freedom, because he stopped asking for it. Machiavelli understood this. In a world of takers, the self-sufficient man is untouchable. He studied the most powerful men in history and found one thing they all had in common. They did not need the love of the crowd to act. They needed only their own resolve. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. What you learn here builds walls, not weapons aimed at others. What you are about to learn is not in any self-help book. It was locked behind 500 years of misreading one man. Niccolo Machiavelli, born Florence 1469, diplomat, strategist, the most misunderstood man in history. He was exiled, tortured, and erased because what he wrote threatened every structure that profits from your obedience. They called him evil, they called him dangerous. They were right, dangerous to those who needed you compliant. He didn't write for kings. He wrote for the man who refused to be destroyed by them. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But what he truly meant was this: a man who needs love can be starved of it. A man who needs nothing cannot be touched. Read that again. A man who needs love can be starved of it. Do you understand what that means for you? Every person who has ever controlled you, they found what you needed. Then they held it just out of reach. Your employer, your ex, anyone who ever made you feel small, they were Machiavellian whether they knew it or not. The antidote is not anger, it is not hardness. It is radical self-sufficiency. When you need nothing from them, they have nothing to take from you. And everything changes. Lesson 1, the approval trap. Approval is oxygen when you're addicted to it and they know it. You perform, you deliver, you wait, and the validation comes just enough to keep you performing. It is a variable reward loop, the same psychology that makes gambling addictive. Intermittent reinforcement. Starting today, catch the moment you perform for someone else's reaction. Pause, ask, would I do this if no one were watching? Drop this in the comments right now. I perform for no one but MYSEL. Lesson 2, the emotional economy. Your emotions are currency. Stop spending them like you're rich. You over-explain yourself. You justify your decisions to people who made up their minds before you spoke. Every explanation is an audition, and auditions confirm that they are the judge and you are the one being evaluated. Machiavelli's lesson: sovereign men state they do not justify, action speaks. Silence speaks louder. Starting today, make one decision this week without explaining it to anyone who didn't ask. Observe what happens. Lesson 3, manufactured dependency. Systems don't just take from you, they make you need them first. Your job gives you just enough to stay. Your relationship gives you just enough to not leave. Crumbs, deliberately sized. The psychology: people with options are harder to keep, so the system narrows your options while convincing you it's expanding them. If you felt this, drop this in the comments. I am the destination, not the pursuit. Starting today, build one thing this week that does not depend on anyone else's participation. A skill, a project, anything that is entirely yours. Lesson 4: the strength of indifference. There is a difference between cruelty and not needing their opinion to breathe. You have been taught that not caring what people think is arrogance. It is not. It is sovereignty. The man who flinches at every criticism is the man who can be steered by criticism. He becomes a puppet of whoever speaks loudest. Starting today, the next time someone's opinion pulls at you, ask one question: does this person's life make them worth listening to on this topic? Drop this one in the comments if this hits. My peace is not for sale. Lesson 5: the power of scarcity. Machiavelli observed that men desire most what they cannot easily possess. You make yourself too available, you respond instantly, you fill every silence, you leave no space for them to want you. The psychology: value is assigned by perceived scarcity. The man who is always there is taken for granted. The man who is sometimes absent becomes significant. Starting today, introduce one deliberate silence into your communications this week. Do not explain the silence. Watch who reaches for you. This is not game playing, this is understanding the fundamental economics of human attention. Machiavelli called it the politics of desire. Lesson 6: build your own world. The self-sufficient man is not cold, he is constructive, he builds rather than begs. Men who wait for circumstances to be right before they invest in themselves wait forever. The circumstances are never right, that is the trap. Machiavelli's prince did not wait for the kingdom to be handed to him. He prepared himself, then he moved. Starting today, identify one area of your life where you have been waiting for external conditions to improve. Begin there. Today. If you are done waiting, drop this in the comments: I build, I don't beg. Lesson 7: the sovereign relationship. You cannot be a full partner if you are a dependent, and dependency destroys respect. The moment someone knows you will not leave, the incentive to treat you well drops. This is not cynicism. It is documented human behavior. The psychology: leverage disappears when there are no alternatives. Alternatives, even implied ones, restore it. Starting today, invest in yourself as aggressively as you would invest in any relationship. Your own development is your greatest negotiating position. A man with options is attractive. A man with direction is magnetic. A man who needs nothing from you is unforgettable. Last comment drop, write this one down. No one controls what needs nothing. Machiavelli watched the rulers who fell. Every single one fell because they needed something the enemy could take. Money, reputation, a woman's approval, a father's respect, every one of those became a weapon used against them. The lesson is ancient. Stop broadcasting your needs and you stop handing people weapons. You can care deeply about people, you can love fully. Sufficiency is not coldness. It is a foundation that love can actually stand on. The free man is not isolated, he is selective. There is a universe of difference between the two. Every time you said yes when you meant no, you invested in their comfort and withdrew from your own account. The people who benefit most from your open access are the last ones who would notice if it disappeared. This is not bitterness, this is clarity. There is a difference between wounds and diagnosis. Machiavelli did not write from hatred. He wrote from years of watching avoidable suffering and choosing to name the mechanism. He wanted the reader, you, to have the map that the powerful have always had, and the powerful have always tried to burn. So now you have it. The question is what you build with it. Remember, this knowledge is for protection, not destruction. What you build with it should make you harder to exploit, not easier to manipulate others. The free man does not hurt people to feel powerful. He simply does not need to. His power comes from abundance within, not scarcity used against others. This is the truth Machiavelli hid inside the book they burned. The truly free man is the least dangerous man in the room and the hardest to touch. You have been living in a version of yourself that was designed by other people's needs. That version is done. The old you is dead, not as a loss, as a graduation. The man who needed their approval died tonight and something else stood up. You are a weapon pointed at your own future. Not at them, not at the world, at everything you have not yet built. Every relationship you have from this moment forward will be entered from strength, from surplus, from choice. You belong to no one, not your employer, not your past, not the version of you they needed you to stay. Machiavelli's final gift is not power over others. It is immunity from being controlled by them. That immunity is built one decision at a time, one boundary held, one need released, one piece of yourself reclaimed from the world's hands. This is not the end of wanting connection. This is the beginning of being someone worth connecting with. You came here looking for something, a way to understand why things kept going wrong. I hope you found a different question instead. Not why do they keep doing this to me, but what version of myself am I building that this can never happen to again? There is a subscribe button somewhere on this screen. What I will not do is beg you to press it. If what you heard tonight changed the angle of your thinking, even by 1 degree, this channel exists to keep doing that. Every video here is a different room in the same building. The building is yours if you decide to walk through it. Subscribe if you decide this is yours. Walk away if it's not. Either way, you know something tonight that you didn't know this morning. And before you go, one question for the comments. Think about it carefully. What is the one thing you are still waiting for someone else's permission to do, and what would change in your life if you simply began?